George Samuel Clayson wrote a collection of parables about the historic city of Babylon in 1926. The book, The Richest Man in Babylon, which was based on these parables, has since become a classic in the field of finance fiction. The tried and true advice the book offers on gaining wealth and riches will astound you if you've never read it. Bonsier, a charioteer, and Kobe, a musician, are the first two characters in the story. Even though they were the greatest in their field, two were nonetheless uneducated and without money. So they set out to ask their childhood buddy, Arcad, who had, in stark contrast, become quite wealthy and accumulated vast assets for guidance and wisdom. Arcad was the richest man in Babylon. Despite his extravagant spending and great charitable contributions, his wealth continued to increase, and he appeared to have an infinite supply of gold. Arcad then told his two friends a tale, claiming that he had once been poor himself, and that he had made a bargain with a rich man to learn the secret of accumulating fortune in exchange for his labor on a clay inscription. The wealthy guy agreed and gave him a very important lesson, saying, "I found the road to prosperity when I decided that a portion of all I made was mine to retain, and so will you." The richest man in Babylon, Arcad, didn't amass his wealth by engaging in extravagant spending. He became wealthy by saving 1/10 or 10% of his salary and investing it in strategies that would increase his returns. The first rule of investing is to set aside 10% of your salary for investments. According to the book, gold comes gladly and in greater abundance to any man who will set aside not less than 1/10 of his income to establish an estate for his future and that of his family. This rule is related to the idea of paying yourself first. Paying yourself first is a proactive approach to financial freedom, and wealthy people are highly aware of this. Many people frequently lament their financial situation. They will say things like, "No matter what I do, I always have nothing left at the end of the month," or "My job isn't paying me enough." The majority of the so-called priorities, such as weekly dinners or going out every week, are actually not necessary expenses at all and take a significant financial toll on your income statement, notwithstanding the validity of the points made above. Instead, you should set aside 10% each month as soon as you receive your income before paying any expenses including rent, electricity, your mortgage, and Netflix. The sooner you start, the better off you might be, and the bigger your savings and investment funds will get. Compounding growth will enable you to build your money more quickly, but you will also be less in the event of a severe financial emergency, such as a sizable medical cost, an expensive auto repair, or in a worst scenario, a layoff. Investing your money is the second golden rule. According to the book, gold labored diligently and contentiously for the prudent owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field. Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23. Money is in fact a willing worker. The richest man in Babylon became proficient at managing his finances early on. He learned to distinguish between essentials and luxury items and was able to keep his spending under control. Although many individuals find it to distinguish between the two, the general guideline for luxuries is if you don't need it, don't buy it. That's how easy it is, in fact. You can start looking for profitable, secure investments to make as your savings grow. You can invest your money in a variety of things, including businesses, real estate, stocks, and bonds. The more soldiers you have, the more loot and bounty they'll bring back from battle. This is how you should think of your money. However, you must first be completely confident about where you're placing your money before making any significant investments. Which takes me to the third law of gold. Seek first guidance, or as I prefer to say, seek wisdom before making an investment. Make wise investments and your money will return to you in abundance. You worked hard for your money, right? You shouldn't lose a single penny, so why would you put your trust in your own experience to make wise investments according to the book? Gold clung to the protection of the owner, who invested with the guidance of individuals wise in its handling. The majority of the underprivileged and some members of the middle class invest based on gut instincts or information they may have received from friends, coworkers, or even news. They always end up losing their money or discovering that they believed to be a smart, safe investment was actually a fraud. You would very rarely hear that the investments were profitable or that any money was made. The wealthy, on the other hand, consult experts who are skilled at managing finances. Just as you wouldn't trust a cook to conduct heart surgery on your chest, you shouldn't trust people who aren't knowledgeable about financial matters before making any significant investments. This leads me to the fourth law of gold, which states that gold slipped away from the man who invested it in businesses or purposes with which he was not familiar or which were not approved by those skilled in its keeping. I believe the best way to demonstrate this point is with the aid of my friend John. John has been practicing the first law of gold for a year and has already amassed a sizable sum of money, a total of $10,000, by doing so. My friend John is a rather intelligent man who enjoys watching TV and YouTube videos about his favorite topic, investing and making money, and reading a few books a year. But John has a serious investment flaw, call it his Achilles heel, despite the fact that, as I've already mentioned, he is a clever guy. John and many other low-income individuals subscribe to these types of investments. You've heard it all before. This is a one real estate chance you can afford to miss or buy into the stock. It's too huge to fail. 2 months later, guess what? People immediately act upon hearing about a good investment on television or the radio. The fundamental investing rule is fairly straightforward. If you don't understand it, don't invest in it. Or ask men who are skilled at keeping and making money for counsel, as suggested by the third law. John intends to visit Vegas, the city of casinos, wager on a few sporting events, and recoup his losses. The fifth law of gold states, gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who follows the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers, or who trusts it to his own inexperience and romantic desires in investment. You see, in John's attempt to recover the money he lost, he believed the quickest and easiest way to do so was to gamble, even though it was very risky. That year, my friend John learned 2 crucial lessons. Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And second, there's no short path to riches. The concept of the book is the teachings that Arcad taught his companions, and they are the lessons of wealth building habits that, in my opinion, every wealthy person has used to develop their fortune. I am confident that these teachings will assist you in establishing a solid financial foundation, since they have helped millions of people who put them into practice become financially secure and rich. That's all for now. We hope you have enjoyed yourselves and learned something new. If you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos. Click on our previous videos and learn 10 things the wealthy do that the poor don't in 2022. Or click on how to make money online in 2022, according to the pros, to keep your knowledge growing.